Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. Then
You're comfortable running everything?
you're on. Okay, well, whatever that is, somebody
Ah.
needs to say I'm chair and take over. Before we do, Caitlin,
Hi, it's Caitlin.
okay, just want to make sure you can hear me and we can hear you.
Perfect. I can hear you.
All right. We are you ready to record? Everything's recording. We are ready to go. So whoever's leading away, uh-oh, I see a gavel.
That's in Silverhand. The meeting of Park and Recreation for July 3rd is in order. Mr. Neese or Mr. Sharretts, would you do a roll call for us?
Of course. Wade Pollock is not present. Peter Lake,
Present.
Joseph Catrombone,
Here.
Caitlin Foy,
Here.
Rose Vanicolo.
Here.
Let's take a moment of silence. Afterwards, we'll pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Think of our world as you have a moment of silence. Let's stand and pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Point 4.1 is to consider approving the agenda. Do I have a first,
Okay.
Motion,
second?
second.
The motion carries unanimous. Is there any public comment for the agenda items tonight? Okay, since we don't have any, let's consider approving the minutes from June 5th, 2025.
Motion.
Second.
The motion carries unanimously. Sorry, all in favor, sorry.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. 7.1, Public Works update from George Sharretts.
Just briefly, Public Works has been visiting the trails and the parks 3 times a week for inspection and cleaning, trash removal, etc. Just as an FYI, the street sweeper is out and has been out cleaning the streets. We always make sure that we handle heading up and down the bike lanes and also along the sides, the shoulders of Route 252, because of the number of people that do use that for bicycles. So we want to make sure we keep those bike lanes and places where we know people ride bikes as clean as possible. Staff has been handling grass cutting at the Meadow Preserve, and the contractors handle the rest of the park system. During June, we teak oiled the bocce ball scoreboard. We need to do that once a year to maintain it. We did that. There's been a few instances already of bees' nests in different places in the parks. We've been treating for them, and we're very mindful of them looking underneath the playgrounds and the areas where where we see where we see bees. There's been a few due to the storms. There's been some trail washouts which we fixed. We purchased a new set of hoses for use at Drexel Lodge. There's some of the groups that use Drexel Lodge that has to use a hose. The old hoses tend to get run over and beat up, and so we usually tend to need to replace them once a year. We did that. We've been doing a lot of tree watering for the month, not only at the Meadow Preserve, but along the Goshen Trail, the Bishop Hollow Trail, Brookside Park, any of the places where trees were planted within the last couple of years. They have to get watered regularly. as well as along Westchester Pike. The last thing I'll talk about is the storm that happened a couple weeks ago. It was a whopper of a storm. There were a lot of roads that were closed temporarily. Pico had a busy time afterwards. Well, we first were working on the streets and making sure the roads were clear, et cetera. Then we were able to get into the parks and the trails. So just to let you know where we had to work and are actually still working in the park system. Newbie Park, down by the basketball court, there was a tree down, and that has been removed. What we call Delmont Park, which is kind of across on Deer Lane, the little park there. There's no apparatus or playground equipment there, but it's a little park. There was a tree down there we had to remove. The Square Tavern, there was a tree that came down on that property. The Goshen Trail, I believe there were 4 trees that we had to clear from the trail, as well as branches that were hanging that had come off that were hanging over the trail. We had to take care of that. That was several days working on the Goshen Trail. The Gable Trail just across the street, the Bishop Hollow Trail, we had to take care of a branch that was down there. Then unfortunately at Drexel Lodge Park, there were 3 trees. So there's one of our beautiful ash trees in the back nature trail that came down. So that was a bit of work cleaning that up. They've been working on that for a bit. The tree that it was right next to the restroom building, a large enough portion of it came down that we didn't have a choice, but we had to take the rest of the tree down. So a large portion came down. Staff immediately opened up the driveway so that people could get through. And then they took the remnants of that tree out. And it was already a tree that the township arborist was watching because it was showing some signs of decay. And so as a result, once the major portion came down, we had to take that tree down. And then possibly the saddest one is that one of the London plane trees near the bocce ball court lost a major portion of the tree, which came down and took out both bocce ball courts. So one of the benches was destroyed. So we're going to be getting a replacement bench over there. But both, we thought it was only one, but now we've seen that both turf surfaces were damaged, and we've had them looked at, and they really can't be repaired. It's something, if it was a playing field that had infill put into it, you could probably get away with trying to cut out a section and patch it. But because the bocce ball turf is one piece with no fill, it's solid. The minute you try to make a repair to it, the bocce ball is gonna it bounce. There's divots in it, so we need to take it out and fix the stone underneath on both of them anyway. We've had people look at it and they said they just can't replace it, so they can't repair it. So we are going to be replacing both bocce ball court turfs. The one is unusable right now. The other one is usable, but it does have holes in it. The holes are all on one side. So there have been folks still using that court and they're able to still use it. It's just not perfect, but the other one's unusable. So we have that taped off. We don't have a timeline yet of when we could get those repair parts, but as soon as we do, we're gonna take them both apart, re-turf it and put it back together again. So it was unfortunate, but we will do a little maintenance when we take it out. We'll put fresh turf down and we will get them back in service as soon as we can. That is the June Public Works report.
Thank you. Thank you for all your work and riding with Nick Russo in the truck. I get to hear everything you just said. Some of it.
If I can just take a moment,
Oh, sure.
it's not, really doesn't fall under Public Works report, but more of a staff report. I may have shared this last month, I don't remember, but we are moving forward with our new comp plan for 2026 and forward. We have a consultant who's been hired. It's Simone Collins, who's coming in to lead the township through that process. And so I'm encouraging all of our committees to be involved as much as possible. Our first public meeting is September the 3rd. There's a meeting at 4 to 6 and again from 7 until 9. It's the same meeting both times, but it's 2 different times to allow people to come. Those who can come early can come early. Those who can come later, what can come later. And so we're doing that. Again, that's September the 3rd. And the consultant will be running that night and guiding us through a process of sharing thoughts and what possibly we need to do going forward. The comp plan is also being married with the strategic plan this time. And so there's going to be the comp plans for 10 years as required by state law. The strategic plan is actually going to be for 4 years and then 2 3-year updates after that, with the idea that in year 4 of the first cycle of the strategic plan, we would start the next 3 years, and then in year 3, we would do the final 3 years for the strategic plan. So those are things that are coming up with the strategic plan. There will also be some stakeholder meetings, and if you're asked to participate in those, I hope you do, just to give your input about where the township's headed. This is really a great opportunity for us to lay out how we want to see the township 10, 20 years from now.
Great. Thank you, Steve. 8.1, new business, update, discussion, and possible action regarding the Summer Library Youth Series.
You want to give us an update of past event?
Sure. Yeah, we've had 2 events so far. We have 2 more coming, I believe. The first event was the seed planting day over at Drexel Lodge Park. And there were about 40 or 50 kids who came with parents, grandparents, and caregivers. And Angela was there, Hagedon, and Gabby, and they kind of spearheaded it. I got to actually, Sheila was there, and she did her chat, and then Bird Woman, Janet.
Janet,
yeah.
yeah.
Janet Prevents.
Yeah, and she spoke, and then I was asked to, because Wade wasn't there, I was asked to show the kids how to plant sunflower seeds. And as I sat there with the dirt and the cup and the seeds, I looked at everybody and I said, you know, I've never done this before. But the kids had a ball, you know, they added the water, they were pushing the seeds down. And they had, I think they had a ball. Yeah. And then the last event that I went to that we had was
You were over at the Octagon Schoolhouse, right?
yes, the schoolhouse, thank you. It's the first time I'd ever seen the inside of the schoolhouse. Another 40 kids came, about half were 2 to 6 years old, and then a bit of older kids. But they sat and listened to the woman in costume, like she was the school mistress, which she pretended to be. And she told history, and for the older kids, the first group in, it was like, well, you know, this was the schoolhouse for all the neighboring farms, and it was 175 years ago. And the Dunwoody people were over there, big barn. And the boys, and she went down a list of the things boys did, and then she went down a list for the things that girls did. And, you know, they were expected to pay attention, and the older kids actually helped the teacher with either the mistress or the schoolmaster with the raising of the younger children. And then they had a thing they could draw, they had games outside with like hula hoops from the way back when, and the little games that you had to try to get the ball into the cup like that. And it was precious. And Dunwoody came through, the workers there brought us waters and little sippy juice things and pretzels. And so, and then the last thing they gave out was the takeaway was a little bell, or like a school bell. And the little kids were going on like this, thinking the parents are going to take those bells away. But, and then we have one more coming up, I believe it's Firehouse in 2 weeks. And, it's always a blast over there. And then I think in the fall, we're gonna go to Public Works perhaps.
Yeah, it's good that we didn't schedule one of them for the summer. One, because of the heat that would have been over there, and two, with the storms, it would have been difficult for us to host the children the way we were able to a couple years ago. So
Right.
I'm glad we're looking to do it in the fall. I'll just note, Peter, I think that Marple Newtown Recreation, Rich Enel provided the school bus on
Yes.
the Octagon Schoolhouse to run
Yes.
everybody over.
Yeah.
So I think I know Angela said they enjoyed the school bus ride too.
Yes, they did. Though the pickup was a little late.
I understand that, yeah, they had to track down the school bus driver for the return.
Because well, when Gabby got off, she didn't say, hey, we'll see you at 11 o'clock. I think he was out for lunch, so, but he got in and it was all good. You know, it was just a fun time and I hope we do this again next year.
Great.
Update discussion and possible action regarding, this is 8.2, regarding the Rock Snake Art Project at Newbie Park. George?
The only update that would come from me is that we have buckets and buckets and buckets of painted rocks over in Public Works,
Right.
which are beautiful.
Mhm.
I mean, they're beautiful. All the children really just went overboard. We weren't sure what we were going to see when they came back, and they're precious. They're absolutely fantastic. So
And some of them were wrapped up in paper towels.
some after they painted them, they wrapped them up so that they wouldn't get damaged, and they brought them back. So Harry's been looking at them, and Wade's been through a couple times, and I think the game plan is that you and Wade at some point are going to schedule a time to come in and kind of rough in how it's going to look. We're going to clear out as much of the garage as they need so that they can work inside in the shade and,
Yeah.
and lay out basically how it's going to work. And then when it's ready, Public Works is going to help you with the foundation and then the coating after everything's been installed.
Great.
But
Thank
it's been fun when we have visitors coming through explaining why there's,
sitting there.
yes.
And they're 8 5-gallon buckets or something.
And they're full.
I know.
Yeah.
It was, I took one home just to show Judith, but I forgot to bring it.
And well, it's clear the children got into it. It's
Yeah.
great that the art teachers
Yeah.
allowed them
Yeah.
to do that and participate with
Great
it.
project.
Yeah, I think it's going to be wonderful when it's done.
Yeah, so I'll hook in with Wade on the timing of that along with Harry, anybody else, to open up. Could be a weekend if somebody wants to do, open up on a Sunday or Saturday.
Yeah, and it's fine if you choose a weekend.
Yeah.
We'll facilitate that.
Yeah, I'll coordinate with Wade. 8.3, update discussion and possible action about family and community events for summer and fall of this year, 2025. I'm not sure if we have. Yeah, I think so. Yep, Family Fun Day. Do we have a date for that?
Talking about the September 20th. Considering that.
All right, let's, if we could keep that for next meeting. Or, coordinate, get Wade's thoughts on, I can contact Wade and get his thoughts on that. 09/20. What day is that? Saturday.
It's a Saturday.
Thank you.
That's the weekend we had it last year.
Okay. Yeah, I remember. It was good.
Popular day.
Yeah, it was a very. Paper Mill House. October Public Works, September, October. I have Yeah, Paper Mill House pumpkin carving, October, or carving painting, date to be announced. Well, let's, if we could put those on the back burner until next meeting. Any other new business? Point 9, old business. There were no public comments. Yes, the meeting is adjourned.
Thanks. Good night, everyone.